Hello, I'm Ignat Solovey and this is 11th issue of Flight TV in English. Flight TV is the only Russian TV program about general aviation. This issue is about the third day of 52nd Russian Open Helicopter Sports Championship. The production is supported by International Academy of Helicopter Sports. Day 3 of 52nd Russian Helisports Open was dedicated to only one task of navigation, the most complex of four. In navigation, one can lose more points than in any other task. History knows the cases when crews scored 0 out of 300 points, penalties and fines devoured it all. In navigation, the crew's task is to fly unknown route. The map is handed 5 minutes before takeoff. Route passage is timed. You have to take off with 1 second precision, enter the search zone on time, leave it on time, and get back to the airfield strictly on time. If you didn't make it, you're penalized. For example, if a route is timed for 30 minutes 35 seconds, you have to make it no later and even no earlier, because early finish is penalized too. 300 points are almost unreachable here, like a Nobel Prize for a young scientist, but the crew of Andrei Orekhov and Vadim Sazonov managed to do it, although they often train at the championship venue in Konakovo. It's always like that, not only helicopter sports. A crew or team that plays at home field has some advantage. You can't get around that because anyway competitions are held where people train, and of course those who train at that airfields do participate in competitions. Familiarity with the territory isn't a key to success though. During the task, a crew has to find 10 checkpoints, recognize them correctly and mark in a report. After passage of the last turning point, they have to get to the airfield precisely on time, drop off the signal bag, drop off a bowling pin on a rope into 40 by 40 cm opening, and do a racetrack landing pattern. It is also important that crews didn't use any navigation aids except the map they are issued and couldn't communicate between each other, especially with those who are just waiting for their turn. Crews are under arrest until the last of them takes off. Everyone have to wait. We call it jail or prison. The crews that are to fly are separated from everyone else. They wait till the end. They can't use phones as well. Phones are placed into sealed envelopes, put on board, and can be used only in case of emergency landing. Initially, the navigation was scheduled for the championship's second day, together with precision flight. Day 3 had to be dedicated to slalom and fender. Yet, people may plan and weather has its own agenda. Rain showers spoiled the show. A day before, organizers decided to hold 3 shorter competitions in one day, leaving the full third day for the navigation. And they came up trumps with that.
Today the weather interposed our navigation task flights. We stopped the competition twice, some flights had to be repeated. It was a mess both for crews and judges. Judges spent the whole day in forests and fields. Some of them almost froze and all of them soaked by rains. I don't remember such intense navigation in the recent 5, even 6 or 7 years.
Navigation task requires 30 minutes of flight for each crew with 10-minute intervals between starts. Since there were 31 crews participating, that would be at least 6 hours even in ideal conditions. In reality, the competition started at 11 in the morning and ended just before sunset at 8:30 in the evening.
It was to mention that 2 Austrian and 1 Ukrainian crews but forfeited navigation. They understood that qualification is more important for Russian crews than for them, and for such gesture we are grateful, because otherwise we wouldn't make it during daylight time at all.
The crews who finished among the first were lucky. They had all day to themselves and could even leave the airfield to take some rest. Those who flew later weren't as fortunate. They had to wait all day long, deprived of communications with anyone outside. Field judges had a trial of endurance as well. In total, 52nd Russian Helicopter Sports Open Championship was won by the crew of Maxim Sotnikov and Oleg Podyukas. Andrei Orekhov and Vadim Sazonov took the second place. Yuri Yablokov and Konstantin Podoynitsin got bronze medals. In general, The first 10 rows were taken by Russian crews, and among foreigners, the best were Lyubov Prihodko and Vladislav Stavisyuk from Ukraine. Team competition looks similar. First 5 teams are Russian. Belarusian team took 6th place, and they did it with Russian help. One of Belarusian Mi-2s failed, so Russian team gave one of their helicopters to Belarusians. There was an excellent helisport school in the USSR, and that basis remained even after the Soviet Union fell. We, Russian team, are the world champions since 1992. The only exception was in 2002 in Austria, when we took 2nd place in team competition, but took almost all the medals. Well, things happen. Our country's Helisport Federation and Helisport team are so good that they cannot be surpassed in foreseeable years. For us, it's really difficult to compete even between each other, because the sports level is exceptionally high. Russian helicopter sports team is still the best in the world. Russia has all rights to be proud of it and also to set a mark in helisports for everyone else. For example, Linda Kristin Lillang from Norway came to watch this championship, but not just as a spectator. Despite she's quite young, she has 750 hours as a professional commercial pilot of Par-44 at Norwegian Helitrans company, and has serious ideas about holding helisport competitions in Norway.
I work as a professional helicopter pilot, and I also is part of the general aviation organization in Norway. Then I also wanted to start organizing the helicopter sport in Norway. So that's why I'm here, just to learn how to make a competition, and hopefully I will manage to make a competition in Norway as well. In Norway we were completely new to this sport, so I'm just here as an observer to learn and see how this is all working.
We have just finished our coverage of 52nd Russian Open Helicopter Sports Championship. There will be 2 more issues, probably more interesting to you, because they are dedicated to Russian stage of the first Helicopter Racing World Cup. Dear viewers, we need your feedback, so please comment on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. You see the links below. Thanks for watching, stay tuned, and fly safely.